again. So happy to have you all here. Today, I thought it would be helpful to share some of my favorite thrifting tips, especially for those who are looking to begin their thrifting journey. Listen, don't let these people fool you. There is, well, I don't think there's much to be fooled about thrifting other than that prices have increased. I've been thrifting for now nearly 13 years. So oh my God, over 10 years of me thrifting. It all started back in college. And for most people know those college budgets, that little bougie on a budget, that was just how we were finessing, you hear me? Finessing. And that's when thrift stores, Goodwill in particular, were giving Goodwill prices. So I definitely have seen a lot of changes, and things I used to do and things that I don't do, I think would be helpful for anyone who may be intimidated or overwhelmed with the whole process. There are so many benefits of just thrifting in general. One, it's affordable fashion. We love affordable, reusable, sustainable fashion. Fast fashion right these days is just out of control. It's seeming like they're not going to take the foot off the gas. If you are looking to add a little slice of change, you can thrift. A lot of bang for your buck. You used to get a really big bang for your buck, but now you get a bang for the buck. The thing about thrifting, you can find like unique quality pieces that you just won't necessarily find that's quote unquote not trendy. If it's not trendy, you might not see it in the main stores. However, you can find anything and everything up in a thrift store. So that's why I'm like, yes, we need to share the tips. I think also me coming from a small city, like growing up in the Midwest, I've had my fair share of thrifting in smaller towns, smaller cities. And I know it may seem limited compared to what I possibly find here in New York. So I think I have a lot of tips and maybe some perspective to share when it comes to shopping both in a small city versus a big city. So I have a bit of intel. Like, let's dive into the first tip of thrift shopping. Tip number one, I will say you have to make a plan, especially if you're new to the streets, new to the thrifting streets, because it could be a lot. There are people who take up a lot of space shopping. They are very aggressive with the racks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bit much, Sometimes that doesn't make the shopping experience pleasant at all. I like to start off with a list of things that I know I'm looking for. Typically in the winter, I'm looking for those quality basics like my sweaters, the cardigans, maybe some outerwear. Determine what you are looking for, put it on a list, and start from there. Next thing you could do in this plan is create a mood board via Pinterest. Pinterest is a good resource. You should be able to find exactly what you're looking for. So for me, I tend to create a board on Pinterest, and I save certain items that I'm looking for, seeing how people are styling up, dressing them up, and that inspiration that's going to help me solidify this plan. Your eye is now like trained to search and hunt when you go in these places, right? Half the battle, just knowing what you want, know what you're looking for. And the last thing to also secure this plan is to do some research. Look around and see in your area, where are your thrift stores, where people are finding their stuff. Like I was sharing before, I've shopped in smaller cities, I've shopped here in big cities. Both can be overwhelming and underwhelming. So it doesn't matter as far as access, but just how to make it work for you. I think if you are in like more of the smaller cities or mostly in the Midwest, for what I can speak on, you can always start with your classic Goodwills. We know Goodwills cannot always be exceptional, but if you do the elbow grease, you can find some key basics and things like that. Some other places I would say to search is for Plato's Closet, Facebook Market. You have your garage sales, yard sales. Don't sleep on your flea and farmer's market. I went to the farmer's market for flowers and fruit and came across like an abundance. Jewelry vendors. Check that out, and then at least for nothing, you can always search online. ThredUp is a big online consignment shop where you can put in your keywords and filter out the sizes, what you're looking for, and it kind of makes it easier. They also have these new features where you can find something based on people's profiles, like their mood boards, and it kind of filters everything out. So do not be discouraged if you don't feel like you have the access to these big cities. It's not that deep. You can still find so much. I've been doing this for a very long time, and trust me, I never went out without without something. Tip number 2. For those that may feel overwhelmed and like kind of discouraged by other people who kind of act like they know what they're doing, they're just taking up a lot of space. Shop outside of peak hours. I know it may not always feel that way, especially here, but when you go during the week, like the weekday, shopping in the evenings after work, people aren't there. Everyone's possibly going on those first Saturdays, getting that 50% off discount or whatever other day of the week. And start there and take it easy. If you have a little bit more energy and, just got a little bit more willpower, go first thing in the morning. Yes, a lot more people will be there, but you can have more of an inventory to shop from. So shopping outside of peak hours will help keep your brain clear from the hustle and bustle. Next tip number 3. Once you're in these stores, do not feel confined to just shop in one section of the store. So for women, if you feel like you can only find what you need in the women's section, no, I need you to walk every perimeter of that store, because 1, people are going to ditch stuff and hide stuff for them to get later. And 2, you can stumble across some really gender neutral stuff elsewhere. If you're more on the petite side or whatever, you might find stuff in kids. If you have more hips and curves or a lot taller than most standard women clothing, shop in men's. Like, do not limit yourself when it comes to thrifting. For me, I came across a really dope vintage hockey jersey by shopping in the men's, and best believe I got it for myself. Also, I hardly find pants, bottoms, at least jeans per se, in the women's sections that are in my size, my length, whatever. The hips be hipping. If you are feeling discouraged about like limitations, yes, there are limitations, but do not limit yourself in a specific section of the thrift store. The next important tip, like, you don't understand how many times I've failed at this, but I've learned now. Please, 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 please inspect your pieces. Oh my God, there's nothing worse than coming home with something that you're like, oh my God, this is new with tags, and it has a busted armpit because the stitching has fell apart. Or there's freaking stains that you couldn't really tell at the store. Most of the stuff you can't return, or you can't get your monies back. So it's very critical to me to really thoroughly inspect your pieces. So you're going to be looking for stains. You're going to check the stitching. You're going to check the buttons, zippers. Please, please, please check. This will also help eliminate things that you're not taking home. Yes, sometimes it sucks, but if you do not feel like you have the tools or the skill to repair some of the blemishes, and it stays behind, unfortunately. Another part of the inspection is you have to try it on. You won't believe, even if it's a size 14, what I'm saying? Not every size 14 fits like it needs to fit on your body. Prime example why I struggle with buying pants at these stores, because I came home, I'm like, bro, these can barely get over the thighs, and nothing is quote unquote true to size. So please do yourself a favor to save you the heartache and the disappointment. Check for blemishes, inspect your clothes, and try them on. Another fun part of the experience is flexible. Be open-minded. Like, honestly, there's a lot of questionable things you come across in these thrift stores. Things are looking funky and wonky, and you're probably like, never in a million years will you catch me on that. However, people can pull anything off if you style it right. You know what I'm saying? Do not be afraid to try that piece on, to give it a chance, to let the creative juices flow about, how can I cinch this in or tailor it up? That could be with belts. That could be with some simple tailoring, or even cropping some shirts. If you're into the whole upcycling and restoration, I'm in the restoration purses. But if you're into the upcycling of clothing and like really into that, that's a perfect place to get like abundance of fabric. All right, my next tip, the one I typically ignore the most, budget. You need to set a budget. You don't need to, but it helps contain things. When I was in college, it was like the girl mathing was like 300%. I would just buy anything and everything that looked good. And I'm like, okay, now what? I don't wear this stuff as often. So it's good to keep a budget in mind. This helps me at least eliminate things in my cart. I'm like, okay, am I really going to pay this for that? You know, it gets a little critical sometimes, but it's not required, but it helps with the process. You feel like there's things that are over budget, just always prioritize those wish list items. This has also put a very huge halt on my vintage purse shopping, because I'm at a point where I have plenty, you know what I'm saying? Plenty, and there's a few I need to restore. I'm not about to just keep buying stuff, because that could really add up the price. Set a budget for yourself, add some little restrictions, and walk out that store with some sense, because things could get out of hand. Also, part of that, if you haven't, most stores have like reward and perk programs. So Goodwill, I know you can sign up for the rewards program. I forget how many per the dollar you spend, you get so many points. And at some point you can get like $5 to $10 off your total cost. There's other vintage stores I've been to where if I donate, they give you a 25% off coupon the next time you come to shop. So please, if you don't see anything listed, ask, especially those more private owned vintage stores or thrift shops, to see if they have a program. Plato's Closet alone has a great rewards program. I went in and ended up getting like 20% off my total cost. Like, it was insane. And they're always sending me texts, even though I don't have anything that's near a Plato's Closet near me here. Woohoo, you got double points on your next purchase on the Plato's Closet. Reply yes to save. Please sign up, save that coin. Like, because it's only going to get more expensive. And it's mathing. It's math. We're near the end, so let's continue. One of my favorite tips to keep in mind when I'm shopping is to think long term. I've recently started doing this again in college. I was just kind of like getting whatever and whenever. But now I can sit and think if an item is going to last long term. So I'm looking at the quality of these pieces. I want to search for those natural fibers. So your wool, your silks, your leathers, because these things are going to age like fine freaking wine, especially if you know how to take care of them. I know it's a bit discouraging to see a lot of fast fashion like Shein and H&M and Fashion Nova on the racks at a rapid rate. I'm not saying you don't have to get it, because honestly, if it fits and it's exactly what you're looking for, I'm not discouraging you not to get it. But if you want to have things to last a long time and kind of like start to develop this capsule wardrobe where things are versatile, can go for a very long, like a good stretch of your time, look for those natural and high quality pieces. Kind of like, that's really where the bang for your buck. I know some of those pieces can be a bit more on the higher end, so it's not going to be like your $10 items sometimes, but it might be in your 15 to 20 or even 30. Think about the times of wear and how many times you're going to wear it. You got to do the equations because it adds up. It makes sense, right? And then also think about those timeless pieces. I know there's a lot of trendy stuff here and there, and that's why stuff is always coming back from the retail store right into the freaking thrift stores. Think about those timeless pieces, and that could be for you. There's things that ain't never going to go out of style, you know? So think about that. And that should kind of give you a good gist of, it gives you a good plan and a good start to starting your thrifting experience. So those are my tips to those who are looking to get started on their thrifting experience, their thrifting journey. Do not be discouraged. It takes a little bit of patience. Once you get to figure out what's your favorite store and how it works, it's fun. It's like treasure hunting for me. So I hope that these tips were helpful and they can be useful for you. Please let me know if you have any other tips to share with everyone else and myself. I'm always open to learn. So I really hope this was helpful. I don't know. Sometimes you think, oh, well, it's simple, like how to shop, but maybe there is someone who's overwhelmed with the process and want to start their thrifting journey and like thrift with me. It's like, do not be discouraged. It is quite the thrill. If you got this far in the video, please like the video. Give me a comment, please. It helps the channel. It helps the channel. And subscribe if you want to hang out with me next time, okay? So you don't miss a beat. We don't miss each other. All right, guys, take care of yourselves and take it easy. All right, peace.